let's watch the Chris Metzen video. He's sort of the creative genius behind World of Warcraft. Where did he come from? Who the fuck is he?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President of Story and Franchise.
Nah, he pretty much came up with the story.
Chris Metzen.
In the world of gaming, some names stand out. Names that have shaped entire universes and left lasting impressions on players.
Ooh.
One such name is Chris Metzen, renowned for crafting the universes and scripts of Blizzard Entertainment's top franchises, including none other than World of Warcraft. But what makes him so special?
You know, I'm the,
Why is Chris Metzen...
He's a Jesus lover. Look at that. He's got a fat cross on his neck.
Why is Chris Metzen such a big deal to the World of Warcraft and Blizzard community? Today,
who is he?
We will dive into the story of Chris Metzen, a young artist who joined Blizzard and went on to create worlds and characters that millions have come to cherish. We'll explore his career, his impact during the golden era of gaming, and how his return to Blizzard could reshape the future of World of Warcraft.
Okay.
To understand why his
He's
return
back
to Blizzard in December 2022 was such a big deal, we have to go back to when it all started. In the early 1990s, Chris Metzen was a young artist introduced to Blizzard Entertainment, then known as Chaos Studios. He had been recommended by a friend who had seen his work.
What was the old logo? That's the old logo.
He had been recommended by a friend who had seen his work. While he initially believed he was joining a graphic design studio, he soon found himself at
Warsong symbol, chaos symbol, tattoo.
studio. He soon found himself at the heart of a growing video game developer. Chris...
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
Video game developer.
Look at that.
Chris's first role at Blizzard wasn't as a storyteller, but as an animator and artist. His initial work was on a game called Justice League Task Force. However, it wasn't long before his storytelling skills became evident. Around the same time, Blizzard was also producing a game called Warcraft, Orcs and Humans. Here, Chris was called on to contribute to developing this game using his artwork, illustrations, and documentation. At the time of its release, no one really had high expectations or knew what this game would go on to become. However, the 1994 release marked the beginning of a universe that would captivate millions. It quickly became a success, selling over 100,000 copies within 1 year of release. It ultimately went on to sell 300,000 copies. The following year, in November 1995, Entertainment Weekly reported that the game ranked 19th out of the top 20 CDs across all categories. This secured the company's finances for the first time since its inception and would prove pivotal. By 1995,
Warcraft 2 is such a good fucking game. God damn.
The sequel, Warcraft 2: Tides
God
of Darkness, was already well underway, with Chris's role evolving significantly. He wasn't just contributing art,
What a
but
good
shaping
game.
the game's fantasy-based fictional universe, designing scenarios and missions, and deepening...
Warcraft 3. Warcraft 2 is better than Warcraft 3. And the only people that disagree are people that have never played Warcraft 2. Warcraft 2 is genuinely much better than Warcraft 3. That is a fucking fact.
the lore.
Fact.
This game was a turning point, not just for Blizzard, but for Chris as well. It marked the beginning of his journey from an artist to a storyteller, a transformation that would define his career. As the 2000s dawned, Blizzard Entertainment was no longer just a game company, it was a phenomenon. It was producing hit after hit, and at the heart of this transformation was Chris Metzen, whose storytelling had become integral to the company's identity. Chris's influence spread across Blizzard's franchises. He played a role in developing the dark world of Diablo and the interstellar universe of StarCraft. Whether it was providing voice acting,
good.
crafting narratives, or conceptualizing characters, Chris's touch was everywhere. Each game, each expansion, bore the hallmark of his creative vision. Characters became more than just avatars on the screen. They had depth, motivation, and histories. The worlds they inhabited were rich with lore, teeming with stories waiting to be discovered. By the time Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos was released in 2002, Chris's role had expanded even further. He took on the role of creative director, a position that allowed him to shape the game's story, concept, and script. This game would further prove his creative abilities were superior to most directors. Under his narrative, he introduced players to iconic characters like Thrall, Arthas, and Illidan. These weren't just characters, they were legends in their own right, each with a tale that resonated deeply with players. Thrall, the Orc war chief with a vision for a united horde. Arthas, the prince whose descent into darkness would shake the world. And Illidan, the night elf torn between redemption and his own ambitions.
Incel.
This complexity and vision brought about a narrative revolution in gaming. And it showed in the numbers as well. Warcraft 3 was a commercial success, shipping 4.4 million copies to retail stores and selling over 1 million within a month. But, believe it or not, even with a decade of success under his belt, somehow the best was yet to come.
Do you remember? I remember, like, the year is maybe 2001, 2002, whatever. You could go to any store in the entire country and there would be a Warcraft or a StarCraft battle chest in the computer section. It'd be the big box and it would have all of the games. The fucking battle chest, dude. Fucking awesome. Awesome.
Chris's most significant contribution to Blizzard and gaming fans would come in 2004. After years of development and delays that were now somewhat expected to come with any Blizzard project, World of Warcraft finally launched in late 2004. The game was a sensation and a massive success. By January 2005, the game had sold 600,000 copies in North America, Australia, and New Zealand, and set a record with over 200,000 concurrent users. So many people played at once that Blizzard had to stop selling the game to add more servers. Blizzard knew that they had a phenomenon on their hands. It soon became the most popular MMORPG ever, with 12 million subscribers by 2010. By 2014, it had over 100 million registered accounts, and by 2017, it had generated over 9.2 billion in revenue.
Holy shit.
It went from just under 500 employees before World of Warcraft to over 4,600 employees worldwide. This massive shift was...
Is it like it's so weird how it is actually so crazy to think about this. Okay, so the process of making the best game of all time and then releasing and operating the best game of all time took 500 people. And then over the next 17 or 18 years, the game has been in a steady decline, and they also have 10 times more people. It's like, how does that happen? How does that work, bro? I don't know. I don't know.
Part due to Chris's storytelling
I do know.
What set World of Warcraft apart during its inception was its rich lore and setting, rooted in the well-established Warcraft universe. This deep lore and backstory offered a sense of familiarity to players. Furthermore, while many MMORPGs primarily emphasize team play, WoW uniquely catered to a diverse player base by allowing both solo adventures and cooperative gameplay. Since its release, WoW has introduced 9 major expansion packs, each adding new content.
Oh wow.
Players can create avatars, explore the game world, battle monsters, complete quests, and interact with other players or non-player characters. While Chris might not have been as hands-on as he was with previous titles, his influence was undeniable. He contributed to the game's script, artwork, and even lent his voice to bring characters to life. The world of Azeroth was a work of art. Beyond the epic battles, sprawling landscapes, and intricate mechanics, there was the emotional depth that Chris Metzen infused into the narratives. It wasn't just about...
Yo, Thrall's a bitch for doing this. Thrall using his magic in this battle to beat Garrosh. This was a serious bitch move. This was a mega bitch move.
completing quests or vanquishing foes. It was about living through the stories that tugged at the heartstrings. Moments like Grom Hellscream's tragic sacrifice left players with a mix of triumph and sorrow. This ability to evoke such profound emotions proved Chris's unparalleled storytelling. He didn't just tell stories, he made players live them. In many ways, Chris Metzen's journey mirrors that of one of his most iconic creations, Thrall. Both were leaders and visionaries who led their respective communities through periods of change and growth.
Yeah.
Just as Thrall united the disparate clans of the Horde into a cohesive force, Chris united the players with narratives that transcended the digital realm. And much like Thrall, who knew when to pass on the mantle of leadership to focus on personal growth and exploration, Chris recognized moments when it was time to step back, allowing fresh perspectives to shape the stories. So, in an unprecedented...
I have not once ever given a fuck about Thrall's character. Thrall has always been such a boring character. There are so many other better characters to focus on in this story than Thrall. Thrall is just so boring. Such a boring guy. Green Jesus, that's what they say.
In September 2016, Chris Metzen
what they
announced
say.
his retirement from Blizzard, venturing into new creative territories.
Yep.
This shockwave rippled through the community. The news was met with a mix of disbelief and sadness.
Oh, no.
For many, Chris wasn't just an employee of Blizzard. He was the heart and soul of the stories they loved. His narratives had shaped their gaming experiences, and his departure left a void that was palpable. Questions started to arise, like, why did he leave? What would become of the stories and characters he had created? This wasn't just World of Warcraft that would be affected. Other major games like the Diablo series and the new smash hit Overwatch would come into question.
Awesome.
According to Metzen himself, his retirement after 19 years came as a result of moving on to raise his new baby. He wrote, "I'll be focusing on the one thing that matters most to me in all the world, my family.
Based.
They're the core of my life and the source of my deepest joy and inspiration." But as
Okay.
it turns out, he would later go on to say it was deeper than that. Back in 2014, Metzen said that morale at Blizzard was low after the failure of Blizzard's MMO RPG Project Titan, which was
Okay.
cancelled in 2014 following developer disagreements. The
All right.
team had spent several years on it, and the disappointment was crushing, especially for him. Metzen said one of his greatest fears was letting Blizzard and its fans down. This self-imposed pressure intensified, especially after the cancellation of Titan and his subsequent involvement in the Overwatch project.
No, Titan was not related to StarCraft. There was, in like 2003 or 4, there was a project that got canceled called StarCraft Ghost. That got canceled. Project Titan was like an FPS MMO that got canceled that ended up being reused. Some of the assets were reused to make Overwatch later on. I think that's how I understand it.
Despite its success, the journey was marred by Metzen's escalating anxiety, leading to panic attacks during personal moments like watching movies with his wife. By 2016,
Jeez, dude.
with multiple projects including the release of World of Warcraft's Legion, Overwatch, and personal milestones like the birth of his child, the weight became unbearable. Realizing the need for a shift, Metzen decided to step back from Blizzard to prioritize and nurture his personal life. Chris's departure signaled the end of an era. For over 2 decades, he had been a guiding force, shaping narratives, creating worlds, and forging connections with players. But, as with all stories, endings pave the way for new beginnings. While Chris's presence at Blizzard was missed, it also allowed new voices to emerge and fresh perspectives to shape the narratives. The post-Metzen era at Blizzard was one of exploration, of finding new directions. But was this a good thing?
No.
Or did his absence create an irreplaceable void?
Yeah, it was a bad thing.
After 2016, Blizzard Entertainment entered uncharted territory. The storyteller, whose narratives had been the backbone of many iconic games, was no longer at the helm. While understanding Chris's decision, the community couldn't help but feel a sense of loss. The question on everyone's mind was clear. What would Blizzard look like without Metzen? In the immediate aftermath, the company continued its trajectory, releasing new expansions and titles. However, as time went on, subtle shifts in storytelling became evident. While Blizzard's commitment to creating immersive worlds remained, some players felt that the narratives lacked the depth and emotional resonance that had been a hallmark of the Metzen era. It wasn't just about the stories, though. The tone of the games, the essence that had made Blizzard titles unique, seemed to be fading. Some welcomed the changes, seeing them as necessary for...
All of this dragon stuff is just so fucking... God, what's the word? Happy. The dragon stuff is very, very happy. True.
For growth. Others felt a sense of nostalgia, yearning for the days when Metzen's touch was evident in every quest, every character arc. Games like World of Warcraft saw expansions that, while grand in scale, sometimes missed the mark in terms of player engagement. Characters and plots, which once felt deeply interconnected, now sometimes felt disjointed or lacking in depth. So, what happened? Was it just Chris Metzen leaving? Or was there more behind the curtains that we couldn't see? Throughout 2016
I think it was a lot more
to
than just Metzen.
2022, Blizzard witnessed a significant exodus of talent. This strain of experienced...
Hold up. Blizzard is losing amazing talent because someone in power doesn't listen to the game directors who make his products. DE&I also means diversity of thought, especially when it's backed by data and financials. Oh, this guy is pro DEI. This guy is saying that Blizzard's problem is that it's actually not DEI enough. That's the problem. Yeah, true. So true.
Throughout 2016...
Yeah, real quick. Just give me a minute here, guys. Okay, let's go.
To 2022, Blizzard witnessed a significant exodus of talent. This strain of experienced professionals particularly impacted the development of Diablo 4. Just before the game's announcement at the Game Awards, the Washington Post highlighted that the Diablo team had seen many departures over the past year, most of whom were seasoned contributors to the series. An insider...
Yeah, but it's all good because Diablo 4 is awesome. Diablo 4 came out, and it's killing it, right? Right? Pretty sure.
From the Diablo team revealed that the leadership failed to effectively adapt to these changes, further hindering the game's progress. This was exacerbated by a fragmented workplace culture, with various departments not being in sync with each other. The game, which carried the legacy of a beloved franchise, faced a rocky launch.
To be fair, this cinematic here is probably... This might be the best Blizzard cinematic of all time for Diablo 4. The cinematic was fucking awesome.
Rocky launch.
Players really good.
Encountered a slew of issues, from gameplay mechanics to narrative inconsistencies. The game's struggles symbolized a larger narrative. Blizzard's once shiny reputation for developing polished products was under scrutiny. Yet, perhaps the most significant challenge was not tied to any game release. Allegations of widespread discrimination and sexual harassment within the company came to light, casting a long shadow over Blizzard's internal dynamics. While it's impossible to attribute these changes solely to Chris's absence, his departure undeniably left a hole to fill. He wasn't just a storyteller, he was also a key part of the team that was sorely missed. The community, while ever hopeful, couldn't help but wonder, would the magic of the Metzen era ever return?
Probably
The gaming
not.
community, especially those deeply invested in Blizzard's titles, had grown accustomed to a world without Chris Metzen's direct influence. But as the winds of change blew, whispers of a potential...
Here's the deal, okay? If you wake up and you get butt fucked, it's like, oh man, man, I'm getting butt fucked. If it happens every single day for the next 10,000 days, by day 10,000, it's like, another day, another butt fuck, right? You just kind of, I guess you kind of acclimate to it, right? And so this is the case, right? Or it's like if you wake up and you eat shit. Let's say you are forced to eat a plate of shit every single day, right? On day one, that's going to be really bothersome for you. You're going to not like to eat that shit. But by day 5,000 or day 10,000, it's like, another day, another plate of shit, I guess. That's status quo. I do it every day. Another day, another shit.
Return began to circulate. These whispers soon amplified into a crescendo of excitement as the news became official. Chris Metzen was back at Blizzard.
Whoa.
Blizzard Entertainment officially announced that Chris Metzen had taken on a full-time role as Executive Creative Director of the entire Warcraft universe. This wasn't just a return to a former position. It signaled a renewed focus on crafting the next generation of adventures for the beloved franchise. The community's response was overwhelming. Forums and social media platforms were buzzing with sentiments of gratitude and anticipation. Comments like, "The Lore Master returns," highlighted the deep respect and admirations fans held for him. Many felt that just saying thank you wasn't enough for someone who had inspired countless writers, artists, and dreamers. With Metzen's return, there is a palpable sense of hope. Hope for stories that will resonate, for characters.
The thing is, even if Metzen makes the World of Warcraft story awesome and cohesive, the retail WoW gameplay, the gameplay still is what it is, right? And so if you are unhappy with the current state of retail WoW's gameplay, Metzen is not going to change that, right? Metzen is a story guy. Like you at best you might have retail WoW gameplay with a really cool story, right? That's kind of best case scenario, but like he's not gonna change the gameplay a whole lot.
Characters that will come back to life, and for narratives that will tug at the heartstrings. WoW's game director Ian Hazakostas and executive producer Holly Longdale have spoken highly of Metzen's influence since his return. They emphasized that his role as a creative advisor is an understatement, describing him as a powerful force at Blizzard HQ. The horizon looks bright, my friends, and with Chris Metzen at the helm, the World of Warcraft community looks forward to a journey filled with wonder, adventure, and magic that only he can bring. Will it bring back the intricate storytelling, the memorable characters, and the epic narratives that had once been synonymous with World of Warcraft? Chances are, the answer is yes. With his absence, and now his return, it's clear why Chris Metzen is such a big deal to the World of Warcraft and Blizzard community. He is,
I hope so,
the heartbeat of it all.
I sure hope
As
so,
we've journeyed
boys.
through the epic saga of Chris Metzen and the World of Warcraft universe, it's evident that the tales of Azeroth are more than just pixels and code. They are stories that resonate, characters that inspire, and narratives that bind a community. The World of Warcraft, with its highs and...
This is a curious video by Nixxiom because... So this is made by Nixxiom. He's not the one narrating this. I think he's using like some voice AI to narrate this. I wonder who did. I wonder who. This is AI voice or something, right? Oh, it's Moocluck. Moocluck. Okay, it's not I don't know. Who's that? Who's that? Who is that? Moocluck? This guy. Okay, this guy. I guess I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know. He's Nixxiom's friend. Okay, he's Nixxiom's friend. And he was making machinima videos like 6 years ago. Okay, I guess this is why. He's making like Warlords of Draenor machinima video. He made 4 videos long time ago. What's this? I have a bad head cold.
Thank goodness you're here. The situation is dire. We need all the help we can get.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. This is not good. Later. True. Okay, there's the Nixxiom video. Good shit. Go drop a comment. Go drop a like on that video.